So today I'm going to be talking about trauma, uh, mental health, positive mental health. As I always try to say, I'm Paul Larkin, based in Belfast, grew up in a lot of trauma, have a lot of my own mental health issues, and then with that I want to bring that then to the public, to create a platform, people who share their experiences and grow together. So that's my main purpose for this. So from my experience, I've lived in a city that's experienced a fair amount of trauma through troubles, through violence, and the grief that comes with that and the hatred that comes from it. And I would say I'd be based, my faith is based in Christ, and that's my nourishment and thing. That's a part of me that helps me to navigate this. But one of the things I noticed as I grew up in this environment, that trauma is usually stemmed from violence or abuse or a version of abuse, and then this violence breeds violence. This abuse breeds abuse. So whenever these things breed each other, they feed off each other, and then they come into contact. So a lot of the time you have somebody who's probably experienced or witnessed or been a victim of like violence or abuse, and then that hits them, they pass that on to others. It's on them, and a lot of the time they've experienced it more than just once. Usually whenever you have somebody that has experienced abuse, they've experienced multiple versions of abuse. But when you have in a society like mine, where there's generations of this going back, and it happens in a lot of other cities, not just mine, where there's low high crime and low sort of poverty, and there's a lot of other problems coming up. You find that these problems then stem to create other problems that then stem to cause like a ripple effect of like abuse and trauma. But like whenever ripples go out into the lake, it hits the walls of the lake and comes back, and then it sort of keeps reverberating. You don't see the full extent of it because you never see the full extent of it, but it usually goes on further. So what happens is that a lot of people, without any support or without any ways of coping or treating it, they pass it on. It becomes like a breeding cycle where you breed trauma into the next generation, and you breed it within your own family, and you struggle to overcome it. Now what happens is that a lot of people, when they're like that, they look around and see that there's societies like that, so they don't see that their trauma is any worse, any better than anybody else's. They probably compare themselves to somebody else and go, well, actually I'm coping a lot better than this person, that's what I said, or people around them, and then they come callous and hard to it. And may not, some people don't, not everybody who has trauma, just to get this clear, causes trauma. They might just cause internal problems, internal inflictions, which eats at them and causes a lot of other mental illnesses and mental problems. Now there's difference. There's mental health, and then there's mental problems. There's mental health, and then there's mental illness. But that's something I want to talk to you about in a different video. So from my point of view and from my experience, I've had to go through multiple versions of counselling to be able to get to a stage where I'm actually able to talk to you about it. One of the biggest things is again for me, it's faith. The faith helps you to reflect and go through your problems and then bring them to a higher source. It's greater than yourself, and then counselling allows you to speak to somebody and then get some feedback, asking you questions of what you've experienced and what you're going through, and then from that you can sort of create a field of reparation. Other areas where trauma can be healed is through volunteering or helping others, being charitable, helping those who are in need, working with those who have trauma, and also being in work environment. Any job you're in, you find that the time that you're in it, you can actually put those thoughts into your work. You can put the trauma into your work and resolve it through the work that you're doing. That doesn't happen for everybody. I find more happens for like people who go into leadership. People go into leadership through the fact that they have this motivation and drive and hunger in them that the leadership matches and meets, and the trauma is linked to that. So you find that they're probably dealing with it through their work. They're probably dealing with it through colleagues, and also through like the interaction with like friends. Guys also find a way of doing this. Women do it in different ways. Men do it through banter and play and banter, and expressing each other through fun game. So that's a fun and games aspect of it. Going out and having a drink and talking through it. They talk through it not directly but indirectly, but they still sometimes resolve it, and they would probably resolve it more than it did than me later on, or my experience, unless they're holding stuff in and they're holding stuff back. Women tend to be really open with each other, get really close connections and friendships, and they work through their trauma together as allies, together as a sense of empathy, understanding and encouragement. So there's different ways of doing it, but as long as we're finding a method, as long as we're trying to look at this, as long as we're not coming cold-hearted and hard-hearted and we're not closing ourselves off, that's because if we do that, then we can cause a ripple and cause more problems. So if the best thing for trauma is acknowledging it, looking into treating it and finding methods to overcome it, and seek help. That's one of the things that I want to try to push forward in these videos. Is the videos are for a purpose. They want to get a connection. So please do subscribe. Your buttons are wherever you can see them. Down here somewhere. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and get back to me. DM me, contact me on my other social medias, and let's get a community building working. If this impacts you, please interact with it and get back to me, because then otherwise it goes nowhere. But I do appreciate it, and there's more coming. Thank you.